Hi, I'm Jen, and welcome to Christian Fire Poppy. All right, I'm so excited, you guys. I cannot wait to share this video with you. I hope that your 21-day challenge went really well. We've been working on a 21-day challenge leading up to November 21st, based upon the scripture Daniel 12:12 that says, "Blessed is he that waiteth." So November 21st blessings, Daniel 12:12, did it happen? So just a quick review for those of you who are just joining us and do not know what the 21-day challenge is. We were for 21 days at the beginning of November 1st to November 21st doing a 21-day challenge. So a Zion challenge, a Thinking Celestial challenge. We were, one, repenting daily and praying for the gathering of Israel, posting often on social media what you are grateful for with the hashtag give thanks. Two, increasing family history and temple work time. Three, making a dietary sacrifice as a modified fast, giving up sugar or eating after dinner. And we were watching, this was based off of signs in the earth and prophecies in Daniel that we saw happening. So Daniel 12:11, it says, "And from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away." So if you think about this, the temple sacrifice was taken away on March 26, 2020. It says, "And the abomination that maketh desolate set up, there shall be 1,290 days." So it's interesting because usually 1,260 is the symbolic number. 1,290 is different. This is one of the reasons it originally caught my attention as being possibly a literal day count. And we saw if you count 1,290 days from the day the daily temple sacrifice was taken away on March 26, 2020, that lands on October 7th, 2023. And that seemed like a day that the Abomination of Desolation, a terrible, awful war in Israel and then being attacked, was set up. So a lot of us have been focusing on the scripture that comes next. In verse 12, it says, "Blessed is he that waiteth and cometh to the 1,305 and 30 days." So if you count those days from March 26th, it lands on November 21st, 2023. So that's 45 days after October 7th. So 45 days. So I threw this up on my community page if you haven't seen it. This was something that came to my attention and I thought was pretty interesting. That 45 days from October 7th, 2023 is November 21st, 2023. I also had someone ask me about the symbolism of 45. So I included one of these facts. There's more, but if you go back to the day that the temple's closed, so if you count from March 26, 2020, 45 days later was a Sunday, and that following day, that Monday, 17 temples began to open. So you can see down here at the bottom in Desert News, and you can look this up too, there were 17 temples that started opening for sealings on May 11th, 2020. I had not heard that. I thought that was pretty interesting, this idea of blessings and promises being fulfilled 45 days afterwards. And then you also have this story of Caleb, along with Joshua, were the only two individuals God allowed to enter the promised land. He requested his inheritance from Joshua at the time the land of Canaan was being divided among the children of Israel. He was 85 years old at the time and stated, God had mercifully kept him alive for 45 years so that his promise to him could be fulfilled. He also declared that he felt as strong at 85 as he did when he was 40. So I like this idea of the number 45 being connected to blessings. So what was happening in the world? November 21st, 2023, day 45 of the war. Well, to me, it looks like it was the most blessed day yet. And according to Headline News, it looks that way as well. So in the New York Times, it was reported in its own statement on Telegram, Hamas affirmed the deal, saying, "After many days of difficult and complex negotiations, we announce with the help and blessing of God that we have reached a humanitarian truce." So right here, we can see in the news, look at all these people. If you Google this situation, there are thousands of posts, headlines about people in Israel praying. So all the Israel hostages and their families have been tortured for the last 45 days, praying. I mean, thousands, hundreds of thousands, I'm sure, people just praying and begging for God to keep their families safe and release them. And I mean, look at this picture. So the cabinet approves deal for the release of 50 Gaza hostages in exchange for multi-day truce. Israel to free 150 underage or female Palestinian terror convicts in return for abductees, says 4-day halt could be extended by a day for each additional 10 Israeli hostages freed. This is amazing. This is the greatest blessing that has happened since the war began. So Mr. Netanyahu, this is another news account who said this week that freeing the hostages was a sacred and supreme task. So we have Hamas declaring this as blessings from God, and Israel saying this is a sacred and supreme task that was being fulfilled. And here in the headline news, you can see that it says world leaders hail Israel Hamas truce deal and the release. The agreement marks the biggest diplomatic breakthrough since Hamas's bloody cross-border October 7th attack on southern Israel. So we have some of the greatest blessings that they've seen in the last 45 days that have been truly a very, very sad, bloody, horrible reality of war. So that is wonderful. I'm so happy for these families, and I'm so happy that they were able to come to this humanitarian exchange. Now, I hope you experience blessings of doing the 21-day challenge, of being a doer. So, waiting on the Lord and doing the 21-day challenge. So, if you look at the meaning of the word wait, it actually has 3 different meanings. It can mean to stay where one is, or delay action until a particular time or until something else happens. So maybe that's how if you were just not really taking action but watching, that's one way to wait. Another way is to look forward expectantly. Maybe you had hope that we would see blessings in the world and in our lives. And a third way is to, if you wait on tables, you are serving someone. So to serve meals, usually used in such phrases as wait on tables or wait. So waiting, but serving and taking action. So I really liked it, really stood out to me last week as we were getting closer to November 21st that we were talking all about. So here's the title of the Come Follow Me last week in James. It says, be ye doers of the word and not hearers only. And I was excited because doing the 21-day challenge is being a doer. We were not just inactively waiting and saying, well, nothing's going to happen. I'll just sit back and watch. We were looking forward expectantly and taking action. And I would love to hear your guys' experience because I had some very, very amazing experiences. So I'll just share a little bit about my experience, and hopefully this will just lift you. And if you did not have this same experience and you felt like, I just experienced more trials, please remember that we are all at different points of our journey. I have experienced really hard trials in my life, as many of you have. And sometimes, if you think about our life as a big circle, sometimes we're at the top of the circle, sometimes we're at the bottom, and the blessings don't always come automatically or immediately. And sometimes those trials that we have are the precursor to those big blessings that are just around the corner. So share with me how things are going. And maybe you are saying, I'm having harder trials. And we're here on a group. This is the little corner of Zion on the internet. We can pray for you. And maybe you experienced really great blessings that you want to share. It was such a blessing to me to know that I was doing this with other people, that I was not alone. And it really boosted me and gave me more spiritual momentum. So I'm going to share with you guys what I did and some of the miracles and blessings that came from it. So I stuck very closely to my 21-day challenge goals, and I was very happy with how it went. I have not always been so diligent in my goal setting, but I was pretty motivated this time. So My young women class joined. I challenged them, and I challenged my family, and they joined as well. And some of the results were I felt more gratitude and joy. I felt close to the spirit. As I was praying for the gathering, I felt more determined to take action and I was actively looking. When you pray for something, it kind of puts it in your brain for the day that that's what you're going to do and focus on. I felt hungry from the fast. It was difficult. The fasting is always a trial for me, and I actually did not know if I was going to be able to go through with it. In Daniel, it talks about what he did, and he did not eat meat or sweet things. So I wanted to do the full Daniel fast. I added in more full days of fasting as well. It was the hardest fast that I've ever attempted, and it was very difficult, but I was able to do it, and the blessings that came from it. I feel like the Daniel fast to me reminds me of the word of wisdom about eating meat sparingly and treating your body right, putting good things into your body. And so I felt like in doing that, the word of wisdom it promises you hidden treasures of knowledge. And I do feel like I experienced that, which is pretty awesome. So on November 20th, I really did a blitz day of family history. We were getting ready for a big temple day on the 21st. And I really experienced guidance, a couple of miracles, really just surprising, interesting experiences that helped me to find family names that needed to be done. And I also had a really special experience that I'm not going to share here. I only share my, really special things if I feel very prompted by the Spirit. But I'm writing it down in my journal and I won't forget it. On November 21st, my husband and I, we woke up early. We went to the first session of the day at the temple. And it was kind of cool because my husband had to go to work and my husband was really amazing. He was willing to skip his lunch and go really early with me. And we needed to drive two separate cars. And we drove just a very short distance to a nearby gas station. And we left one of the cars there so we can combine cars. And it was so cool because as I drove to meet my husband, and it was just me in the car. And when I'm in the car, I like to just turn on the Christian radio station. And that's not really up my husband's alley and that's fine. So when it was just me, I really only had time to listen to one song. And when my husband and I get together, we listen to talks and other things. But there was only one song that came on, and it was a Christian song called Wait on You by Elevation Worship. And I'm going to share some of those lyrics because it just blew me out of the water. I cannot believe as I was heading to the temple on November 21st that this song came on. So another thing that we did was we had just a big fun like celebration and reward day for my children who successfully completed their 21-day challenge. And I had a blast. I had such a fun day with my kids. And the third thing we did was in Young Women, as the Young Women's president, I was able to work with my awesome leaders and we hosted a Friendsgiving feast for the young women. And then we went to the very last baptism session of the day. So as I was making this video and I Googled the meaning of the word waited, it occurred to me that it was kind of cool that I was literally waiting on tables and serving food and a feast that day. So we waited on the young women by serving them dinner and teaching them about the temple. And I put together a little PowerPoint for them. And it was such an amazing night. I felt the Spirit so strongly, just the Spirit pouring out. And afterwards, one of our youth there, who is not a member, said that they want to get baptized. I mean, I cannot think of a greater blessing happening on that day than that. And then when we got to the temple, we completed 445 ordinances as a group. So there's that number 45. It was the 45th day. And we were not trying to do that. In fact, I was not even counting or trying to keep track of how many names we were doing. We went there and we had a lot of leaders. And since we had extra time, I snuck up to do 5 initiatories while the baptisms were going on because they had enough help there. And I had a really special experience doing that, the last initiatory session of the day. And then when I came back down to join the youth again, one of the priesthood leaders came and I was really excited, and he told me that they had completed 220 baptisms and 220 confirmations, making that 440 baptisms plus the 5 initiatories that I had done. I thought, wow, 445. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, so these are the lyrics to the song that I heard. So the only song that I listened to on the radio heading to the temple on November 21st. What are the odds, you guys? So it's called Wait on You, first of all. And these are just a quick little sampling. So if we want to take a quick review, look at this song and see if it matches with kind of the theme of the day. It said, I've never seen a pot of gold at the end of a rainbow, but I've got a promise I can hold in the middle of the struggle. God, if you said it, you'll perform it. Here's what I'll do. I'm going to wait on you. And then it says this over and over again. I'm going to wait on you. You ordered every step. You are the author. You hold the future. This was by Elevation Worship and Maverick City Music. Really beautiful song. Go ahead and listen to it. And then I just wanted to share one of the little many experiences that I had as I was searching for my family history. So I was looking and I was talking to my girls about family history. I was about to go start working on it. And we were listening to, it's a Christmas song with Jack Black singing. And my daughter kept talking about Jack Black, Jack Black. And then as I came up to do family history, this image of the Black family popped up on my feed. And I just felt the spirit pointing that out to me, this name Black. So I was looking for names along on this family line. Sure enough, I was able to very quickly find a bunch of family names. And then later, as I was working on family history, I figured I was done. But a screen just popped up. I was not even touching my computer, and a screen popped up again with a specific name from the Black family. And I got excited. I thought that was weird. And I looked at it and I found a whole another line of names in the Black family that I had missed once again. So I did feel like there was divine help as I was trying to find these people and get their ordinance work done. And so these are a few of the quotes that I shared. So I made a little PowerPoint for the girls and I just shared a few quotes, and I want to share them with you guys as well. So it says, embrace your sacred memories, believe them, write them down. Elder Neil L. Anderson. And I shared some quotes about how us writing our history down, it's sacred treasures that we can share with our family. And if we have memories that our ancestors wrote down, they are sacred treasures for us. And there was a talk that was written, and he basically says that those stories from our ancestors can make those ancestors in our life be the King Davids in our life, the Moses, the just those examples that we can look to inspire us. And so one of the things that I shared on social media as I was doing my Give Thanks hashtag, as I said, feeling grateful for my ancestors and their legacy of faith today. Newell and Lydia Knight recorded miracle after miracle in their journals after being baptized and married by Joseph Smith. So they were actually the first couple to ever be married by Joseph Smith. And the Newell Knight is this such an amazing family. Newell Knight was the family, I mean, Newell and Lydia, they were the family of all of the first miracles of the gospel. He was the first one to experience a miracle at the hand of Joseph Smith. Lydia was the first woman to experience the miracle to speak in tongues. And anyways, there's a whole litany of experiences. And then the Knight family, they made up 3/4 of the early church. They were just your average church members, but they really experienced miracles and had faith and were really great examples. And then my other ancestor, Abraham Daniel Washburn, he was such a great example. He was actually baptized by Orson and Parley Pratt, and they just exemplified their devotion to Jesus Christ in service, sacrifice, family devotion, and love. And they too have countless miracles written down in their journals as they went on this beautiful journey, seeking their Savior Jesus Christ and following the words of the prophet Joseph Smith. And I think that there are so many blessings and promises that come from doing family history. I really find that amazing experiences flow as we do these things. If you've done family history and you're not feeling that, it took me a long time to actually experience that. I will say, when I first started, I think there is a natural progression. It's natural to feel bored, to feel like you're wasting your time, to feel like you don't know what you're doing, to learn how to do it. But the more you sacrifice and the more you put your heart and faith into it, you'll start to see the miracles. And this quote I love, it says, "Don't underestimate your family on the other side of the veil." It's Jeffrey R. Holland. They will help you. They're there. They want this work done. And I think as we connect to them, we open the door for them to bless us in our lives as we bless them. Something else that I shared with the youth is actually we passed out little tiaras for each one of the girls. And we talked about in First Peter how he talks about the royal priesthood and how the youth today are a chosen generation. As they look to go into the temple, they can experience the blessings that come from the King of Kings. So something that's really cool, if you dive into the initiatory and coronations of kings and queens, the initiatory is like a coronation, and the endowment is a celestial gift from the King of Heaven. So this took me back from our other video. I just love this picture. I think this picture just embodies what my heart has felt as I've done the 21-day challenge, and I've focused on thinking celestial and doing those things that we need to do, focusing on what our priorities should be and letting go of some of those distractions and those things in our life that are unnecessary. And it says, "And he that sat was to look upon like a jasper and a sardine stone, and there was a rainbow round about the throne in sight like unto an emerald. And round about the throne were 24 seats, and upon the seats I saw 24 elders sitting, and they had on their heads crowns of gold. And out of the throne proceeded lightnings and thunderings and voices. And there were 7 lamps of fire burning before the throne, which are the 7 spirits of God. And before the throne there was a sea of glass like unto crystal." And I think this is a beautiful depiction of this royal celestial world that we are striving to be like, to come close to Jesus Christ, to learn of him and to be with him in his royal kingdom. I think it's amazing that all of these asteroids were depicted in the sky like this on November 21st. So this beautiful image just depicts how my heart felt yesterday. So something to think about is maybe there will be a multiple fulfillment. So I know there were a lot of people that thought, well, maybe this day count of 1,335 days, what if the count is supposed to start on October 7th? Because it's not clear. You could interpret it either way. You could count from the March 26, 2020, the day that the temples closed and the daily sacrifice stopped, or you could interpret it as being 1,335 days from October 7th, 2023, the day that Israel was attacked. So Jerusalem Day on June 4th, 2027, if we count. So is that a possible multiple fulfillment of blessed is he that waiteth? We'll just have to watch and see. So if you plug in 10/7/2023 and you add 1,335 days, it lands on June 3rd, a Thursday of 2027. And it is interesting because that day is Jerusalem Day. And Jerusalem Day is an Israeli national holiday that commemorates the reunification of East Jerusalem with West Jerusalem following a war. So it's kind of about a war ending and this reunification. And you can see right here, I looked it up, and in 2027, it begins at sundown on Thursday, June 3rd. So wouldn't that be really awesome if there was a second part to this blessed is he that waiteth? We'll just have to wait and see. We'll have to wait a little bit longer till 2027. All right, well, please share with me your experiences in the comments, whether they be good, whether they be challenging. I'd love to hear about it. And I love that we were in this together. And thanks for joining with me. It really has been a blessing these last 21 days. We're truly a blessing. So let's bloom despite the doom and gloom like a true fire poppy. A Zion field of many fire poppies will reduce erosion after fires. Join us for more fiery passion and preparedness as we fly into the second coming of Jesus Christ. And I know that Jesus Christ is the King of Kings, that his hand is over the entire universe, that he's manifesting his glory every day, and he just wants us to reach out to him, to pray, to let him in. And that as we go to that holy place and we invite those holy moments, we take some time to be quiet and to pray and to seek after him. He will manifest himself to us, and he will help us to know what it is that we can do. And the 21-day challenge is over, but we have many more things that we can do to express and to show our love for our Savior, Jesus Christ. And I'm so grateful for him, and I know that he is coming soon, and I look forward to it. Thanks for joining me on Christian Fire Poppy.